To understand the context of this conflict, which started almost like 35 days ago, we need a little bit to go a little bit into the history, right? So the Palestinians are living under the Israeli colonization since more than 7 decades. And of course, the Palestinians tried in the last like 30, 40 years, all kind of negotiation with the Israeli government, but that did not bring us to the what is always proposed as two-state solution. Now, to look at a little bit the context in the last few years, if we look at West Bank, for example, West Bank was really a place where there is unrest. And the last 2-3 years, almost we have every day Palestinians are killed by the Israelis because of the settlers, because the Israeli soldier getting in the cities. And of course, the most known policy in Jerusalem, trying to ban the Palestinians from going to the Aqsa Mosque. And even we witnessed a lot of accident in the last 2 years attacking Palestinians in the Aqsa Mosque, in the mosque. So Palestinians praying peacefully, and then Israeli police getting inside Israeli military and attacking them. Of course, within this context, Gaza was very quiet. And always, as a Palestinians, we always ask ourselves, like, where is Gaza? Why the Palestinian in Gaza? Why the resistance movement did not move in Gaza? And of course, within this context, Arabically speaking, for example, some Muslim countries, they start this more normalization or more openly normalization with Israel. And of course, that is the point where it was for the Palestinians a little bit with depression. When we look at this context, Palestinians are attacked every day in West Bank and in Jerusalem, specifically more racist, more apartheid policy by the Israelis. But in Gaza, it's a different kind of problems because it's already it's like the most or the biggest open air prison in the world, right? So the Israeli blocking everything in Gaza. And within this, because we look at also the Israeli government, it's one of the most radical Israeli government in the history of the state of Israel, right? So when the Israeli politicians, they start to think about what is our threat, of course, they thought about West Bank because there's a lot of problem in West Bank. They thought about Iran, they thought about Hezbollah, but very little discussion about Gaza. And this is where Gaza attack or Hamas or the resistance movement in Palestine start this kind of attack. It came in the minute where no one was expecting this to happen, because everyone was thinking, okay, Gaza is weak, Gaza is like under siege, Gaza is busy with its problems, because Gaza has a lot of problems. It's like they don't have access, for example, to clean water, right? They have very restricted kind of movement, right? They cannot move outside and in Gaza without very long procedure. And I know some of my friends, they got into Gaza because they want to visit their families, and some of them, they are a student. They couldn't get outside of Gaza because of the siege, because it's the border closed and all of this. So in this moment, I believe the Islamic resistance movement, Hamas in Palestine, decide that this is the moment, because within Israel there is a lot of division between secular and religious, and also everyone like waiting in Palestine, like to have a kind of response to this Israeli apartheid system, colonization, continuously confiscation of the Palestinians' land, specifically in West Bank. And of course, beside all of this, we witnessing the Palestinian Liberation Organization or the Palestinian Authority. They are negotiating with Israel, or in many years, in the last years, they even don't negotiate with Israel. So there is no political solution in the horizon, and we don't see any possibility. Now, the attack from Gaza was a turning point of bringing back the attention to the international community and Arab Muslim countries to the Palestinian case, which I do believe it's one of the main issue within the Muslim world. No doubt that if you opening now, like most of the website, the news agency, Twitter, Facebook, most of these discussion there are related to Palestine. Even in Turkey, in Jordan, in Egypt, Palestine becoming one of the most debated topic within the last several weeks. And as I said, many people forget that the Palestinian living under the Israeli occupation or the Israeli colonial power since more than 7 decades, right? this moment of this attack brought back this attention and international solidarity. And there are some reports which shows, for example, in the last days, England had the biggest demonstration in its history, of course, pro-Palestinian demonstration. And this is not only in England, in the US, in Australia, in Canada, in Europe, in many countries. Of course, we talk about Europe, it's different from one country to other countries. For example, in Spain, there is a lot of solidarity with the Palestinians. Germany, it has a different story because of the Holocaust, as we all know. Less people will be critical to Israel, of course. But the point is here, we can see this event of October brought attention back to the Palestinian, not only within the Arab countries, not only within the Muslim countries, but everywhere in the world. Now people start to talk about the colonized, the oppressed Palestinians. Everyone start to know about how these people in Gaza, they are living since almost 2 decades under the Israeli siege. They are all start to know more about the colonial, racist, apartheid policy by Israel, which is important because this is raising the awareness of the people, and these people will change later, because when we seeing a lot of demonstration in the West, in England, in Spain, in America, in the US, for example, when we see more people on the street, that will make pressure to one point where people, they might put pressure on their government not to support Israel in all of this kind of racist apartheid policy. So to conclude, raising the awareness of about the Palestinian issue will benefit us and will show that we are not fighting Palestine alone. Many people, many countries around the world is standing with us, and many people are like not happy with the Israelis. And the more the Israeli continuing this attack on Gaza, killing civilians, the picture of the children we are seeing every day, that will make people more and more supporting the Palestinian. And we will come to very soon to a point where it will be very difficult for anyone to defend Israel. It will become very difficult for anyone to say, I support Israeli defense, self-defense, because it's not anymore about self-defense. It's about killing, genocide of the Palestinian people. We can divide between 2 levels in the Arab countries and in the region, or the level of the people. And we are witnessing that most of the people in the region supporting the Palestinian case. The second level is the government or the state level, where it's not the same like the people, right? So what is important, like if you watch and see the demonstration in Jordan, in Egypt, in Iran, in many countries in the Middle East, even in Turkey, you will see like a huge amount of people, they are going to demonstrate against Israel. They are supporting the Palestinian. And a lot of them, they start to be aware of something called boycotting Israel, or Israeli product that support Israel and the state of Israel. So now, of course, that will make the Palestinian case more important, and that might force this government to come more close to each other, because, you know, some Arab countries, they start to normalize with Israel. It will be very difficult for them now to continue with this normalization, because you know what? Some Arab countries, they want to normalize with Israel to defend themselves or to protect themselves from other countries in the Middle East, specifically from Iran, right? Now, what we are witnessing in Palestine, that the Israeli themselves, they cannot protect themselves, right? So what will make a country in the Middle East normalize with Israel as something to protect itself from other countries, right? We are witnessing the Israeli cannot defend themselves. So a lot of this country, I think they should at least, or they will reconsider their normalization with Israel. Specifically, more people will be against this kind of normalization, and that will make it very difficult for the Arab Muslim countries to have a normal relationship with this colonizer, with this colonial project Israel, which is all in the end will lead for the benefit of the Palestinian people. Now, whether this conflict would be escalated to include other parties, it's already escalated in the north front with Hezbollah, between Hezbollah and Israel. But it's very limited escalation. So Hezbollah attacking military places, and Israel respond almost the same, right? So it's not like an open now. Whether this will be open or not, this is a question that we can debate. But what I can say that we, as a Palestinian, I personally think we are not interested that it will become a regional conflict between, let's say, Iran and Israel, or Lebanon and Israel, because that will shift our attention. That will shift the international solidarity attention with Palestine and make it maybe with Lebanon, with other countries. So I think it's our interest now to keep the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis, to make it focus on the Palestinian case. But we should be aware that other foreigners, powers, and specifically America, they have also soldiers on the ground, at least advising the Israeli soldiers. And there are some statements from people in Gaza saying that they saw American soldiers on the ground. This is not confirmed yet, but it's also within the context of seeing Biden visit to Israel and the foreign minister, and what is happening between these two countries, and this very close relation between these two countries. I will not be surprised to see American soldiers are fighting in Gaza beside the Israeli soldier, or at least advising them in their operation. So that means the Palestinians are on their own, but the Israeli are not on their own. As a Palestinian, I don't see this summit bringing any kind of benefit to the Palestinians, because we can see as Palestinians there is a lot of talk, a lot of discourse, a lot of speaking, but no action. And to be giving more like example, Egypt, the president of Egypt, he was saying we should help the people in Gaza. And between Gaza and Egypt, there is a border, and he is closing the border. So instead of listening to his nice words about helping the Palestinian, I would like to see action, like a normal action on the ground, saying, okay, we open the border between Gaza, and we leave this humanitarian help to get inside Gaza. But again, unfortunately, this summit, it doesn't show any kind of real solidarity with the Palestinian. There is nothing to see on the ground that will help the Palestinian. I mean, when the summit started and ended, the Palestinians are bombed and killed in Gaza. After the summit, before the summit, the same situation. The nice words in the summit did not let Israel to stop the attack for 30 minutes or 25 minutes or even less, right? So in the end, I am seeing there is no benefit in all of this, bringing all of these presidents, kings, whatever people to come together. In the end, it didn't bring anything, and I don't think it will bring anything to the Palestinian. I mean, they could do a lot of things to help the Palestinian. At least, for example, they can say, okay, we don't want the Israeli ambassadors in our capitals, right? So these Arab countries, they can send back the Israeli ambassadors as a kind of demonstration. But even this did not. Of course, because Gaza, the people in Gaza, the Palestinian, they need all kind of basic stuff, medicine, water, food, all the needed things to survive and to live this. Now, of course, Israel closing all of this, and it's very clear. We are talking about one of the fascist government in the world, the Israeli government. It's one of the most racist government in the world. So if they are not pushed to do something, they will not do this. They will not open. They will try to make to punish to have a collective punishment for all the Palestinians in Gaza. And by the way, this is something they think they are banishing Hamas, but I can guarantee for you that you will see after this conflict that more people believe in Hamas and more people believe in the resistance, because I mean, whether they like the Israeli or not, but Hamas was a Palestinian movement restricted to specific people. Now it become an idea of resistance. So it become in in the public in Palestine, it become like Hamas is like something, not a party, not a political party for us now. It become like a kind of notion that we believe in to finish this occupation, to have our freedom back, to have our independent state. So the more the Israeli are radical with their punishment, with a collective punishment, the more they will bring the Palestinians to come together and support the resistance. And the future will show us this.